Hello everyone. Good afternoon to all of you. I am Shafika Irfan, Project Coordinator at the Nutrition Times. I welcome you all in the highly acclaimed gathering of professionals. It's a huge honor for the Nutrition Times team to have you all with us in free webinar entitled Future Prospects of Nutritional Microbiology and Immunity. Today, our guest speaker is Dr. Shahana Urooj Kazmi. She is Vice Chancellor at the Women's University Swabi, KPK, Pakistan, and also she is serving as President in Pakistan Microbiology Association. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for honoring our session. Today, the session will be hosted by Dr. Sayyeda Mahvi Zara. She is Managing Director at the Nutrition Times, and now it's over to you, ma'am Zara. Thank you.
What happened?
Ma'am, actually, I think ma'am maybe she has some internet issue.
Now it's,
So,
now it's fine. We are back and we are live. Yes, ma'am. Please, can you tell us something about microbiology, like its introduction and how it can influence during the diseases?
Are you asking me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Is this
Can you please
Zara?
highlight the importance of microbiology and its impact on the diseases? Can you introduce, because with us there are graduate students also.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, you have some graduate students. Okay, so basically, this session that you've organized, first of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting me to talk on this very important issue of nutritional microbiology and nutritional immunity. So basically, when we talk about microbiology, we have to discuss what is it all about. Microbiology is all about studying the physiology, the molecular biology, the growth cycles, and the production of different substances by the microorganisms. And of course, these are viruses, which we talk about a lot these days. Viruses, bacteria, we have fungi, we have rickettsia, we've got protozoa, they're all microorganisms. So microbiologists study these things about these kind of, oh my God, it started and then stopped, and we thought that we are going to have a talk during this time. But anyway, we were talking about the microorganisms and microbiology. So all these different groups of microorganisms, we all study about it. So now when these organisms are in our body, like from the outside, when they go to your body and they multiply, grow, and produce all these kinds of enzymes, toxins, etc. So they also, penetrate into the tissues and they cause injury to the tissues. And as a result, they are the causative agents of different types of infections in the hosts where they reside. But at the same time, because we are talking about nutritional microbiology, so that means that we are talking about the nutrition type of microorganisms which help us. So you all realize when we talk of microbiome, in our body, the number of cells of our body are much lower as compared to the total number of cells of the microorganisms. There's like more than 3 trillion microorganism cells which are present in our body, and they're doing a lot of different types of physiological functions, making enzymes and helping in different physiological functions of the body. So, they're providing the nutrition to the body because they're in certain areas. For instance, we have the gut microbiome, we have the oral microbiome, and the dysbiosis of this microbiome. That is, what is microbiome? It is the collective organisms which reside in a particular area of the body. So the gut microbiota, which is all the types of different organisms present in the gut, that makes the gut microbiota. So now, if there are any changes in the gut microbiota, these are the common cell organisms which are present in our gut. So if there is any change, and we call it like dysbiosis. So it is directly linked to different types of diet intake and different types of foreign organisms or foreign substances that we use. For example, I always talk about metformin. Metformin, when you take metformin, does it help the diabetes patients to overcome the sugar concentration or metabolism of glucose in their system? Yes, what happens when you take this metformin? Metformin actually enhances the growth of certain microorganisms like Akkermansia muciniphila. This is an organism which helps in glucose metabolism, and then also there are certain organisms which grow. The growth of those organisms was also enhanced by metformin, and these are the short chain fatty acid producing organisms which are also supported by the presence of metformin. So metformin actually help the gut microbiota, in the sense that the metabolism of sugar or glucose is controlled. In the same way, like if we talk about the microbiota of the gut of people who are fat or obese or, lean. So in the case of obese people, you have just very few different types of microorganisms. So the lean people, the more diverse the population of the microorganisms in the gut, people, they will help in the utilization of the nutrients that you take, and they will also help in not getting the accumulation of fats in your system, which will increase your weight also, and you will have a lot of fat there. So, the better food that you take will reduce the number of these organisms which actually accumulate fat. So the more diverse the population of microorganisms in your gut microbiota, the better it is for you, and because there's better absorption of food. At the same time, we also talk about the prebiotics and probiotics. They also help. So this is also nutritional microbiology. There are certain microorganisms like bifidobacteria, and we have lactobacilli, and they produce certain substances which help in killing the other not useful or harmful organisms. So these are also, and then there are prebiotic. There are certain substances which comes along and help in the growth of the probiotic organisms, which maintains your health. So there are lots of microorganisms which are external to your body, and they enter. They are not allowed to establish their home in our body, because of all these organisms which are already present as common cell bacteria. So, and like if you take broad-spectrum antibiotics, then you also disturb it. So dysbiosis or disturbing the natural flora or the common cell bacteria in different microbiomes of the body can result in different kinds of health issues. So it is good to have the good bacteria in your body and let them grow better, so that they can control the physiological and other functions of the body. So this is all that I wanted to say about nutritional microbiology, how the microbes are helping you in your own body to overcome the health issues, and how the probiotics are also helping the growth of the common cell bacteria, which are good for our health. Okay, is that
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're right. Because when I was studying for this talk, I came to know that there is a innate immunity in our body. Skin has its own the surface is such made that it keeps the microbial impact away from the inner organs, and then the mucus that traps pathogens, and stomach acid, it destroys the pathogens. Then is the enzymes in our sweat and tears, that has also the antimicrobial or antibacterial compounds. And then is the immune system that helps whenever any antigen came to the body, the
Mhm.
system activates, and the immune system cells attack the foreign cells which enter the body. And then we talk about the adaptive or the acquired immunity, which we know that in that perspective, the lymph nodes become active, and the bone marrow and the spleen, these are the organs that regulates those cells which perform the activity of defense system. So, ma'am, I had a question that when we see that our body also has like trillions of the microbiome in our gut,
Mm,
so
mm.
do you consider that there are just uh, the the beneficial microbes in the body, or there could be any bacteria that are not beneficial but are present in our body?
Uh, no, I don't think there are, the microorganisms naturally present. There are some of them, which are present in the gut, and, if they ever overgrow, they can cause a problem. For example, there is this one of the drugs, clindamycin, if you give clindamycin, it may enhance the growth of certain organisms which are already there, like Clostridium difficile, which can cause a very serious problem also. So it is present as a normal flora. So there are certain of them which are present as normal flora, and they have a good management within the host body, and they're not doing any harm to them. They have developed like a joint friendship to stay together. But because of what we eat, or what kind of things go into that system, that might disturb, for example, antibiotics or certain toxic substances, or certain chemicals that we inhale or we take along with our food, that can bring about some problems there. So these beneficial microorganisms are there, and they're producing vitamins, they're producing a lot of different enzymes and doing the physiological functions of the body. But at the same time, we do take certain organisms from outside, that is food, water, environment, etc. So they can cause problems. And then there's some of them. I always say that there are some of the organisms which can cause problems and disease, but majority of them are beneficial for us inside our body as well as outside our body. They are like miniature factories of making lots of antibiotics, lots of vaccines and certain food products, etc., which we utilize in our industry also. And when you said about the immune system, yes, of course, we have two types of systems. Like we have an innate immunity, like when you get infected or you get any foreign substance, there are policemen in our body, like phagocytes and other, non-specific cells, which would come and engulf them and kill them. But then we have an acquired immunity system in which we have the B and the T cells performing the functions, making antibodies, making cytokines, etc. So they play their role, and then it also goes into our memory. So whenever we get reinfected with the same bug, the memory cells always get activated and make antibodies to take care of this, and that's how even vaccine works. Does that make any sense?
Thank you, ma'am.
Rara?
Ma'am, my next question from you is that immunodeficiency, is it really related to the nutrient deficiency?
Of course, immunodeficiency is definitely related to, the deficiency that we develop in our system. Like, you have to keep your system balanced, So in order to have a balanced or immunocompetent immune system, you need to have macronutrients and micronutrients in the right quantity in which our body requires. So macronutrients like, proteins, carbohydrates, and certain other nutrients which come from the food. And then we have the micronutrients, like, for instance, zinc, iron, and, like some vitamins, lots of vitamins also, they are very important. So in certain quantity, they should be present. They should not be, like in higher concentration, because that becomes very toxic. So these play a very important role, like iron, zinc, selenium, boron, and calcium, and all these. So they're playing a role in the stimulation of the production of T cells, stimulation of the function of the T and B cells, and of course phagocytic cells. So if these macro and micronutrients of the body are not in balanced condition or balanced position, then this will cause immunodeficiencies. in the body, and that immunodeficiency can appear in the form of many immunodeficiency diseases, and may also show up as enhancement of infections also. So these vitamins play a very important, like you said, that when these organisms enter your body, they are at the mucosal surfaces. So there are certain vitamins which are required at the mucosal surfaces, and there are also certain antibodies, some secretory substances like secretory IgA plays a very important role. And then we have IgA, this vitamin A, which plays a very important role, keeping your eyes healthy, your skin healthy, and your oral cavity healthy, and gut, and, because it plays a role at that point also. Then vitamin D3, which is very important in the proper functioning of the immune cells, and of course the bone density, and it also helps the immune system to get boosted or to be in a very competent position. And then of course we have vitamin B complex, and we have vitamin C, which is an antioxidant, and which really helps in protecting the cell membranes, because these reactive ions can really damage the membranes of the cells. So, there are lots of components of the immune system which can go wrong to make you immunodeficient. Therefore, keeping yourself immunocompetent, you need to look at the macro and the micronutrients balance. They should be in proper concentration present in your body. Otherwise, we suffer from diseases and infections, enhances like this vitamin A plays a role, and IgA plays a role. So the respiratory system, like in the lungs, where you have the mucosal cells, and some of these vitamins, when they are deficient, you do get more infections of the respiratory tract or gut, mucosal membranes there. So that also can get problems. There are certain vitamins which help in controlling the respiratory infections, and of course that's why we are saying nowadays with the COVID crisis that we're undergoing, that keep your vitamin C level high, keep your vitamin D also, so that your immune system remains boosted, and you can compete with the viral infection and overcome the toxicities of the infection with this virus.
Yes, ma'am, you are right, because at each stage of the body's immune response, it relies on the presence of the micronutrients. For example, you have mentioned the vitamins. There are also the minerals like zinc and selenium and iron, and also the protein that includes the amino acid, glutamine, and the basic sources of which are like plants and animals, and uh,
Yeah.
those foods. And I would like to add a few points from the types that have like the negative impact on the immune system. So those are the ultra processed foods that has the like high sugar composition in them. So we have to incorporate the minimally processed foods as to our
Yeah.
health, yeah, activate our immune system
Yeah,
health.
because of the preservatives in them.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So natural fruits and vegetables and the minimally processed, the carbohydrates and proteins are very good, and it will be improving the inflammation of the gut, and the associated suppressed immunity will be released. Yes, ma'am. You are really, really telling us the good things about here. I also had to ask, you have mentioned the probiotic foods and the prebiotic foods that enhance like the impact on the immunity system.
Yeah.
So yeah, ma'am, you have mentioned those. So I would like to add some examples of the probiotic foods like yogurt, which is like very cheap and is easily affordable for uh, all the population in the Pakistan or outside the Pakistan. You can easily go to the shop and you can buy it. And then it's the kefir and the fermented vegetables like sauerkraut and tempeh, and the miso also, and kimchi. These are the probiotic foods, and the prebiotic foods include like the garlic, which has been known since centuries for its
Yeah.
impact of immunity,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
uh, and the onions and leeks and artichokes, bananas, and we have always heard of the citrus fruit, and we focus those citrus fruit for the vitamin C, while we have compromised on the importance of the guava, which is more 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 you can see rich in vitamin C, and then is the vitamin D. So in our last, I remember that there was a person from Canada, and he mentioned that there is a need to define the limits of the food, that okay, if we have to improve our immunity, then what is the ratio of the food that is going to give a certain amount of that particular nutrient which will enhance the immunity. So I took that into consideration,
Mm-hmm.
and and we from the Nutrition Times are going to present a paper, inshallah, on it. So, ma'am, I also have a question about the future prospects. Like, how do you see the nutritional immunity, the nutritional microbiology, and the immunity as a career?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Can I see myself? No. Can you see
Yes,
me?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, of course, like nutritional microbiology and this nutritional immunity, or for that matter, microbiology in general, there are lots of applications, and it's like a golden time for microbiology in Pakistan and around the globe because of this COVID-19. It has really made people realize how important it is to know what the viruses are and how they grow and how they cultivate and how they cause problems, and what kind of remedies are available for them, because we have very few antiviral drugs available. Even for this one, we don't have much. So for people who specialize in microbiology, different areas of microbiology, like virology or viral diagnostics, or maybe immunology, they have lots and lots of opportunities. It's like unlimited kind of jobs available for them. They can go to food industry, pharma industry, they can go to diagnostic products, diagnostic instrument industry, and then of course the research institutions around the world, they need a lot of microbiologists specialized in different areas of microbiology. So even in Pakistan, there are lots of different institutions which still lack, and there are lots of jobs available. And now people are realizing that diagnosis of COVID-19, you need a person who is a virologist, who has training in molecular virology and diagnostics also. So just a common medical doctor cannot really do it. And also to understand the immune response to this virus. Of course, this is a new virus, and we are all educating ourselves about what kind of immune response it's giving, and how can we just evaluate that immune response. Should we say that it is long lasting or it is short lasting, things like that. So you need a real in-depth knowledge about immunology and immune response of the host, as well as the biology of this virus and other viruses. So those who specialize in these areas, they have lots of jobs and careers in educational institutions, as well as research institutions, and of course the industry. And the vaccine industry is very huge, like we need vaccines for so many more viral infections, because as I said, that there are not many viral vaccines or antiviral drugs available. So usually we think of making vaccines and controlling the spread of these infections through these vaccines. So vaccine industry and biotechnology products, like I said in the beginning, that microorganisms are miniature factories, so they can make proteins of any type that you want, like you can just put the gene that you're interested in. The best example I always give of hepatitis B virus vaccine, what you have done is you have taken the surface antigen of this virus and put it in yeast, which we use every day in our breads, and then grow it in little quantities, and then isolate this molecule and then vaccinate people. So, it's like a miniature factory, and you can make products for the healthcare industry, products for the food industry, and of course, diagnostic products industry and diagnosis of different diseases. It's not only infectious diseases, because immunology is not only about infectious diseases. When you get cancer, so what happens? The cancer killing cells are less, T killer cells which kill the cancer cells. Okay, so it is about the changes in the body which is taking place in human beings as well as in animals. So you study all that also. So the veterinary area is also important, where microbiologists play a very good role. So there are lots of careers available. You have to decide which area do you want to get specialized. And there's a huge water industry, this is a whole industry where we need many microbiologists. So it is the candidate who has to decide where I should, really concentrate more, and where you feel like, you can do better. So just specialize in that. Just getting a degree like a BS in microbiology, you may not have many options, but if you do get some specialization, then of course you have open field of careers. Are you there, Mavish? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. We are listening to you. So you have added, you have shown a versatile picture of the careers that are associated with the food and
Mhm.
microbiology.
Mhm.
So here, ma'am, I would like to input, a research that I had heard from Brazil, that they are doing the research on how the diet can change the microbiome. Like how you have told, that the microbiologists can go uh, to the lab, and they could work on the uh, genes, and how the genes could be influenced, and then uh, those microorganisms, how could they impact the health in better conditions. So similarly, what they had been doing was that they were studying how the diet, like one diet was of the fat nature, and one was of the protein rich, and one was the carbohydrate rich. So when they fed to the rats those diets, after certain time period, there was a impact. They saw that the microbiome was changing as per the food nature, because I guess maybe the reason is just basically that there are specific type of microorganisms for the digestion of specific, or working for the specific type of sugars, or the proteins, or the fatty acids. Ma'am, your mic is mute. Please unmute.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, there is a direct link with the diet and the microbiota of different areas of your body, especially the gut microbiota. So there are lots of experiments which have been done, and a lot of data available on this aspect also. Instead, for instance, there are studies on infants, 1 year old infant, where, the mother milk, the breastfed milk, the babies who are, nursed by the mother, if those babies are given some activated bifidobacterium, or species, along with that activated form of it, along with the mother's milk, then they have very high content of this bacteria, and this bacteria helps the metabolism of the oligosaccharides. The mother's milk has oligosaccharide, and these oligos can be metabolized better by these organisms into lactic and acetic acid, which helps in killing the other bacteria. So these babies for 1 year, if they're given, their health wise very good. In the same way, they say that some people, like autistic characteristics are also linked to what you eat. and that changes the microbiota of the gut also. And they say that you have juicy vegetables or you have other kinds of foods, so there is more chances of developing autistic characteristics or not. So there is a direct link between food and also, can you hear me? There is a direct link also between the brain and the gut. When the message that comes from the brain, you start eating, and the secretion of certain substances in your stomach also. So definitely feed, I told you that in the beginning, that feed has direct impact on the health of your gut microbiota, and then it can make you fat, it can make you lean. In the same way, like I was just telling you, that there are certain variety of diverse organisms present in studies of people who were lean and as compared to the obese people. So the type of organisms which were isolated from the obese were very few different types as compared to the lean people. They had more diverse type of microorganisms, and it was found that these organisms in the obese people were like sleeping. They were accumulating fats, and there was accumulation of fat, and of course they were becoming obese. So definitely, what you eat is shown in your the type of health you have. And they say it shows on your face. Your health is very bright, your face looks very bright, you look very healthy, you feel very healthy, very energetic. So it all depends what you have eaten and how it has been metabolized by your body. And again, there are some people who do not, there is a pharmacogenomics attached to it also. That, I may eat the same thing as you're eating, and I may suffer from diarrhea, but you may not suffer from diarrhea. And that is because the pharmacogenomics of each individual is different, and each individual usually, they will metabolize or may not metabolize. So, of course, there are definitely proved studies about feed on the impact of your health and the microbiota of your system. So you can decide what kind of microbiota you want to have. Okay, so there are now fecal transplantations going on. The feces of a person who's lean is being transfused into a person who's obese. Okay, and I don't know if that will be allowed in Pakistan, but this is these experiments are going on, fecal transplantation for making people lean. Those people who are fat, they're trying to become lean, so they're changing the microbiota of their gut so that it is populated more with those bacteria which can metabolize the food and can metabolize the undigestible food, and also not accumulate fat in their system, so they become smart and lean.
Wow, ma'am, that was really refreshing talk actually. And how you shared the the different experiments going on around the world.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to ask you just one more question. That is like,
Uh,
I guess you also believe that uh, by just following just a diet or just by taking just one nutrient, you cannot actually enhance your immunity, because immunity is just a pack of all the patterns. Like you have to follow a dietary pattern, you have to follow a balanced diet, you have to
yeah,
uh,
you have
you
to
know
discipline yourself also, not keep on eating,
yes,
like
yes, yes.
you have to discipline yourself what you eat, and you need to have a, eat balanced diet. That's really important.
Yes, ma'am. And also we would have to emphasize the plenty sleep of like 6 to 8 hours. And in
Oh
some
yeah,
countries,
that's just very important.
yeah, and you
Because
have
that's the
to,
time, that's the time when your body heals. All the healing mechanism gets activated when you let the body rest. So 6 to 8 hours of sleep is very important for good health, and especially these days. And also exercise, exercise and spending time in the open air, especially in the COVID-19 crisis. It's very important to spend most of your time in open areas, not just stay in the closed, rooms. You should get more oxygen when you're in the open areas, so that will keep you healthy. So healthy diet with which is balanced diet with vitamins, with micronutrients, macronutrients, proper exercise, and of course, timing also, resting and all that. I think that can make us healthy microbiologically and immunologically. So if you keep your immune system competent, it can fight many battles. But if your immune system is weak, then you're inviting infection. You're making yourself susceptible to many infections. So as an
Thank you so
immunologist,
much.
I always say, keep your immune
Yeah.
system competent. We can win wars, against
Yes,
many
ma'am.
viruses.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a really good talk. That how what could be the, like, when the COVID was hitting in the start,
mhm,
and everybody was just so much scared. But now that we know that we have to live with this, like
yeah.
all the other viruses for which we just have not got any, the perfect solution or the perfect vaccine. We
Mhm,
are going to live with this
mhm,
COVID-19.
mhm.
With all the stress that it brought, it also brought us some uh, opportunities with it. Like you have
But
just mentioned.
but all the stress that you have, the psychological stress, the physical stress, and the stress of not being able to go and meet your people, to spend time with your loved ones, and keeping yourself isolated, that stress is also bringing down your immune system and making you more susceptible to infection. So you have to fight this stress also, because stress is directly linked with the immune system and also with the gut. Once you have anxiety and stress, you start having diarrhea. You start having you start sneezing. So stress is expressed in different ways, but stress actually directly impact your immune system. And I always say the best thing to keep your immune system competent is stay happy, laugh very loudly, and be very happy, be very positive. Positivity, I mean, there have been experiments in which people have found that people who are more positive, and when you are depressed, when you take the blood sample of a depressed person, it's the chemistry is very different. Immunologically it's very different. Once a person is very happy, the in chemistry of the immune system, it changes. So I think keeping ourselves happy and well fed and well exercised and well oxygenated, that is what we need to do. Just don't be, wo kehte hain, some people say that it's not a good idea to stay like things will not happen, and you're so depressed. Depression leads to a lot of problems. So we should learn to beat the depression by being happy and positive.
Yes, ma'am. And I would like to add on this,
Mhm.
the last note,
Yeah,
that we have to
yeah,
be,
that's good.
and we
That's
have,
good.
yes, ma'am. We have to be
Yeah,
happy, and we have to keep the healthy
yeah,
diet
yeah,
and a big mixed balanced diet,
yeah,
because
yeah.
you have to eat the foods that make your mood, but
Uh,
you have to cut off the processed foods. Thank you so
yeah,
much,
I
ma'am.
stopped.
It's a really
Okay.
great
Thank you.
talk.
Thank you. Thank you, Marvin.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So here I would ask the viewers that you have mentioned the links of the attendance and the quiz and the feedback.
Mhm.
Kindly, only the participants who will clear the quiz, they will be awarded with the certificate. So please take care, enjoy your life. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Are there any questions? No.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, ma'am. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, ma'am. Goodbye.
Goodbye.